Hello everyone. So today we're going to look at some of the tabs that are under properties for layers, and we're going to look at the ones that are commonly used because there are some that don't get used very often. For example, there is the selection tab that for all the years that I've worked in GIS, I've never had to use it for any reason. I know that you can change the coloring and the symbol for the selection. So for example, usually when you select something, it turns to cyan color, and you can change that into whatever color you want, but I've never had to use it. So I'm not going to say this tab is useless, but it's not something that is not one of those that you use very often. We're just going to look at the ones that are commonly used in day-to-day activities. So one of the very first tab is the general tab. This is the one where you get the general information about your layer. So you get the name, you can turn on and off whether or not it's visible, and then of course you have the description of the layer here, and you can put credits where the layer came from. For example, this one right here, it came from the city of Los Angeles, so you can put credits on where you get the data from. And then the other thing is you can change the visibility, the scale at which the layer is visible. So for example, this layer is visible at all scales, so it doesn't matter how far out or how far in you zoom, it's always going to be visible. But this can be changed. You can say, for example, this one right here, it's set to be only visible between 250,000 and 10,000. So for example, right now we are at 95,000, it's visible. So if we zoom out, say to 251,000, it's not going to be visible at all anymore, and this one is going to grade, the check mark is going to grade out. And then of course when you zoom in, we are 25,000 right now. Say if you are 99, say 99, it's not going to be visible anymore because the visibility is set between 10,000 and 250,000. So only between these scale, that's where this layer is visible. Another tab that we're going to look at is the source tab. This is where it shows you where your layer is coming from. So it gives you the path of where your layer is, and also it gives you the information about the layer, like the projected the coordinate system, and whether or not it has the m values and the z values. So for example, this one doesn't have any m values or z values, but this one, for example, it's a linear feature and it does have the m values but no z values. The other thing that's useful about this tab is that sometimes you can open your map document and you see a broken link, and this is because where the last time the map document was saved, and between the last time the map document was saved and now the location of that layer has changed. So for example, right now it's looking at Parks source data city of LA, And if we go there, we don't see the layer by that name, the layer that's called parts. It's not there. It looks like it's been moved. So if you know where your layer is, what you need to do, you just point it, you just point your layer where the data is, and it's going to take care of this. And now the broken link is no longer there. Another useful tab is the Simology tab that you're going to be using like almost every day, multiple times every day. And this is where you change the symbology of your feature. So for example, right here you can have just a single symbol for the feature that you have, and then you can change to categories. For example, if you have, for example, you can change this to graduated color, and of course you can either accept the range that are given, or you can manually change them to suit your demand. So if this doesn't work for you, you can manually say, for example, if instead of 0 to 1920, you can change this from 0 say to 2500, and then from that one say to 4000, and on and on and on. You don't have to accept the ones that's given. You can also, instead of graduated color, you can use things like graduated symbols. So, and of course you can change the size and range as well. So instead of having graduated colors, we have graduated symbols. Another tab that gets used a lot in the day-to-day activities is the definition query. This is where you come in and just filter the data that you want to work with. For example, right here we have all the pipes. We have more than 35,000 pipes, so we can go in here and filter this and say we just want to work with the pipe that has, say, diameter that's greater or equal to, for example, 12 inches. So instead of working with 35,000 records, now we're only working with 5,000 records. And then of course you have to be very careful not to say, I mean, if you want to keep your data the way it's supposed to be, the way it is, make sure that you clear this before you save your map document, because if you do not clear it and save it with the query definition on, the next time you're opening your map document, it's only going to show you the data that fulfills the query definition that you gave. So your data is going to look a little bit different than you expect. So you have to be careful not to save with the query definition on, unless that's what you want. And that's it. these are the fields that wanted to look at under the properties for layers.